What is the single most important thing you can do at any age? What simple act can radically change your life and possibly the lives around you? Well, I'll share that with you in just a few moments. First, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Abby Hanneman, author of The Ripple Effect of Joy, which I have linked below. I stumbled on this magic bullet in my late 20s. I didn't know then that it would change the course of my life, that it would radically improve everything. My mental health, my physical health, my spiritual well-being, my relationship to others, to the planet even. I'll be 65 years old in March, and this strategy has seen me through some of the biggest difficulties. The deaths of my parents, challenging jobs, heartbreak when relationships ended, and the loss of too many feline loves. But back then, in my late 20s, I was in a desperate place, a dark place. I wanted out. But some little part of me whispered, not yet. I had to try something new. And I decided to try two new things on one very long and tearful night. I chose two things I'd never done: surfing and affirmations. And the next morning, I made a beeline to South Coast Surf Shop in Ocean Beach in San Diego, and I found out I didn't have enough money for a surfboard and a wetsuit. It was February, so a full suit was mandatory. I chose a really good one, and then with the leftover money, bought a bodyboard and fins. It's all I could afford. I did not know what I was doing, just following the nudge, most likely from my guardian angel or higher self. I don't know. I left the surf shop, drove 2-3 blocks maybe to the beach parking lot, and suited up. I took my first few tentative steps into the ocean and got swept off my feet. San Diego winter surf is not for the timid. The rip currents would pull me out and the waves would beat me back. But I kept going. I was determined, stubborn, I guess. I don't know. But it is the best decision I ever made. It took 3 months to ride a wave the way it's supposed to be ridden. And when I did ride that wave, I flew. It was exquisite. It was thrilling. I popped off that wave just before the whole thing came crashing down, and with a fist pump, I just yelled, yeah! And I felt at a cellular level the affirmations that I had been repeating for 3 months, the ones I had chosen. Affirmations I didn't even really believe, but I said them over and over again. I love life. I love people. I love this world. And I felt those things for the first time ever that day. Prior to that, at least as a young adult, I hated everything, everyone, myself. So, what is the one thing you can do at any age to radically change how you feel, to change your life for the better? And no, it's not surfing, although I do recommend it, but it is to do what lights you up, whatever that is. Dance, cook, garden, run, paint, swim, ski, snowboard, whatever. When you do the thing that lights you up, like I do in the ocean, you plug into joy. And joy is a high vibration emotion. It aligns you with your highest calling, with everything good in this world. I am an expert on joy. But here's the deal. I wasn't born joyful. Not that I know of anyway. Maybe. I don't know. What I do know is that I wasn't born into a joyful family. I was born into an intense family We had some playful moments, but they were few and far between. And I definitely wasn't born into a joyful era, given it was the tumultuous 60s. America was on the brink of joining the war in Vietnam. Racial rioting would filter into high schools. And drugs, sex, and rock and roll were about to explode into the national consciousness. Liberating for many, but freaking out the establishment. And then there would be politically motivated assassinations that would break our collective hearts. In my teens, in my 20s, I couldn't even say the word joy. I actually hated it. Yeah, I was in a dark place. So when I found joy, I reveled in it. In retrospect, of course, I realized that joy is what launched me into my own personal growth and ultimately a light-filled life. So is joy a fleeting emotion, as most people believe, or is it a gateway to transformation? Look, I realize talking about joy may trigger some of you right now. It may seem frivolous when there's so much division in our world, but I would argue that it's more important than ever. Joy is not about pretending everything's okay. It's not about ignoring the injustices around us. It's about finding the strength, the clarity, and the resilience to face them with an open heart. When we're anchored in joy, connected to our hearts, we're better able to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. So think of plugging into joy every day as a quiet act of rebellion against hate, despair, division. Because your joy, your elevated state, contributes to the collective consciousness. And it is through an elevated state that we can create a global shift toward kindness, love, compassion, connection. My deep dive into my joy became an anchor for me, and it can be yours too. Do one thing every day that brings you joy, no matter how small. It could be a short walk where you just truly appreciate nature. It could be a hot bath or listening to music that uplifts. Maybe cooking your favorite dish. There's so many examples. For me, yeah, it's bodyboarding, connecting with nature and finding gratitude in the simplest things. These moments don't erase the challenges, but they give me the strength and clarity to navigate them. So if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, ask yourself, what lights me up? What's one thing you can do today to bring even a spark of joy into your life? Start there. It might seem small, but over time, those moments add up. They create a path out of the dark and into the light. And remember, your challenges and the challenges that we face globally, they don't define us, but our choices do. Choose to do something joyful today and keep choosing it every day. And by all means, if this resonates with you, join me in this journey. Let's do it together. Subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what lights you up, how you found your own way forward. In my future videos, I'll share some of my favorite things, often recipes, sometimes exercises. For today, I'd encourage you to plug in to some of my favorite music. And you can do it through Spotify or Pandora. Try Trevor or Snatam Kaur. They both have stations on Pandora that you can easily find, and then others like them on Spotify, them and others on Spotify. I stay plugged into this kind of music all day, every day. I can't imagine life without these light-filled artists. And remember, do what lights you up. Joy follows, and transformation then becomes inevitable. Until next time, wishing you waves of joy.